Imagine a place filled with thousands of children, but absolute silence. No crying, no laughter, no footsteps running down hallways, just breathing, slow, uneven. In the heart of Europe, behind locked gates and concrete walls, a human experiment was hidden for decades. Not during war, not during famine, but during peace. A dictator's dream that became a nightmare for over 100,000 children. It was called Decree 770, a single law quietly signed that transformed women into production units and children into state property. What happened next was buried so deeply that even after the fall of communism, much of it remained classified. Medical crimes, psychological destruction, and a silence so complete, it broke the human mind. Tonight, we open another chapter of the Dark Europe Files and expose the quietest orphanages ever built. Romania, 1966. Nicolae Ceaușescu ruled with paranoia and obsession. He didn't just want loyalty, he wanted numbers. He believed population was power. More bodies meant more factories, more soldiers, more control. So he passed Decree 770. Abortions were banned. Birth control disappeared overnight. Women were forced into mandatory pregnancy checks at factories, offices, even schools. Women were monitored by state officials known as the Menstrual Police. Every month, they were lined up like cattle in cold public rooms. Invasive exams. Total humiliation. If a woman was found not to be pregnant for several months, she was hit with a celibacy tax, a financial punishment that meant her family couldn't afford bread. Failure to produce children meant fines, public shaming, loss of employment. But Ceaușescu ignored one truth. His people were starving. Families lived without heat, without medicine, without food. So the government offered a solution. Give your children to the state. We will raise them. We will educate them. We will make them strong. Parents believed they were giving their children a chance. They were giving them away forever. Within a decade, Romania was drowning in unwanted children. Orphanages multiplied across the country, not in cities, but in forests, mountains, remote villages, places no one visited. By the early 1980s, over 100,000 children were locked inside state institutions. But these weren't homes. They were storage facilities for human beings. Rooms packed with metal beds, iron frames without mattresses, dozens of children per room. No toys, no mirrors, no names, just numbers and silence. Caretakers followed strict rules: no touching, no talking, no comforting. Children were fed, cleaned, and moved, but never held. Human affection was considered weakness. The goal was to eliminate emotion. What they created was something else entirely. Imagine the psychological rot. Children spent 23 hours a day staring at the same gray ceiling. No colors, no music, no human touch. Just the smell of ammonia and the sound of teeth grinding in the dark. Children stopped crying, stopped reaching out, stopped reacting. They rocked back and forth, stared at walls, disconnected from reality. Doctors later called it hospitalism, a condition where lack of human contact permanently damages the brain. These children weren't born broken. They were engineered that way. As resources vanished, the state began sorting children: recoverable, partially recoverable, unrecoverable, a minor disability, malnutrition, delayed speech. Any weakness could condemn a child. Those labeled unrecoverable were sent away to places like Ceaușescu, facilities without doctors, without nurses, without records, hidden from Western eyes. Here, winter mortality rates crossed 50%. The pipes froze. The rooms became ice boxes. Children were tied to bed frames to keep them from wandering in the dark. They froze, starved, disappeared. No executions were needed. The system did the killing. Then came the experiments, blood transfusions. But this wasn't safe blood. Children were injected with unscreened adult blood. At the dawn of the HIV epidemic, the state believed it would make them stronger. The result was catastrophic. Romania became home to Europe's largest outbreak of pediatric HIV. Thousands infected. The government knew and sealed the files. Instead of stopping, the experiments continued. Children became lab subjects, used to test drugs, isolation studies, psychological breakdown. Some intelligence agencies reportedly observed from a distance, interested in what total deprivation does to the human mind. No consent, no documentation, just silence. In 1989, the regime collapsed. The world finally saw the footage. The ghost children. Global outrage exploded. Adoptions surged. Thousands of children were sent to the United States, Canada, and Europe. Families from New York to California opened their homes. But rescue didn't erase the damage. American parents were terrified. Their new children didn't know how to play with toys. They would eat them. They wouldn't cry when they were hurt. They would just stare. The vacuum of their upbringing had rewired their biology. Doctors identified reactive attachment disorder, a condition almost never seen at this scale, because this had never happened before. The United States still holds thousands of classified documents on Romanian orphans, because these children represent the largest social isolation experiment in human history. To this day, American therapists use these cases as the ultimate textbook for human neglect. Today, those survivors are adults, living normal lives in American suburbs, working jobs, raising families. But the trauma is biological. Many don't know their real names or their past. They carry the silence of the orphanages in their DNA, and the 100,000 who disappeared. Most lie in unmarked graves in the Romanian countryside. No funerals, no records, no justice. Forgotten by history, but not by us. This was Decree 770, a law that turned children into numbers and silence into policy. If you want more of Europe's hidden darkness, subscribe to Dark Europe Files, because the truth is always darker than fiction.